wonderful new car. And she was happy and laughter and all this, and all of a sudden, but Friday, she drove that car to Fresno for a doctor's appointment. So she calls me and she says, Angelo, I'm in deep trouble. I says, what's happening? She says, I got here for that doctor's appointment, and I'm sitting in my car, and I went to turn it off, and I couldn't extract the key from the ignition. And she's gone bonkers. And she said, what should I do? Well, when I was in the Marine Corps, my mom calls me. I'm 3,000 miles away, and she says, Angelo, the sink is leaking. I said, what am I supposed to call a plumber? But anyway, she calls me. She calls me, and she says, what do I do? I said, well, tell me about this. She says, it won't come out, so I can't put the car in park. Which is true. If you don't take the key out again, I can't put it in park, and it won't go into reverse. And she says, I don't know what to do. She says, I'm here in Fresno, and this is Good Friday. If I take it to the dealer, and I don't even know where he is, if I take it to the dealer, it's probably going to be closed because it's Good Friday, and he's at church. Or if I need to get a ride home, if I need to rent a car, there are probably not going to be any cars available because it's Easter week and everybody's... You see where I'm going with this thing? She's gone from this delightful happiness of this wonderful car that brought her all this happiness that's bringing her into total misery. And I said, listen, where have you been for 16 years? She said, well, what do you mean? Where have you been? You have listened to my talks. You've listened to all of our ministers. You've been there when I was counseling and doing all this thing. Where have you been? What do you need to do? And she thought for a moment. She says, oh, I need to take a deep breath. That's good. That's a start. There you go. I need to take a deep breath. And she says, and what else? I'm talking to her as a counselor now. And what else do you need to do? She says, I need to meditate. Yes, and what else? I need to transcend. I need to move beyond the problem and go to a higher level of consciousness. Well, great! So I said, listen, do this for me then. I said, I want you to practice all this stuff. Would you call me when it's all resolved and let me know what happened? Isn't that cool? And I won't tell you anything further right now about that. I will in a few moments. Jesus, 2,000 years ago! 2,000 years ago, told Joan, I shouldn't have used names, told her how to deal with a challenging situation like this. 2,000 years ago. There weren't even cars on the planet 2,000 years ago. But he told her how to do this. And so I wanted to share that with you. Do you mind?
No.
What did he say? Well, I slaughter Jesus every time I quote him, but I'm going to try. He said, place not, lay not for yourself your treasures on earth. Now, you're all metaphysicians. You know where I'm going with this. Place not your treasures on earth. Where moths, I'm doing well, aren't I?
Yes.
Where moths and rust will consume them. Okay? However, place your treasures for yourself in heaven, where no moths and no rust will consume them. Because where your treasures are, that is where your heart is. Wow. Let's look at that a minute. Think about that. What is he saying? Well, some of the people, looking ministers in the field, decided what Jesus was saying was, it's evil to have money. It's evil to accumulate money. Don't do it. Don't do this or that. Eric Betterworth, he came out with a book, and I don't remember which one it is, but it was a good one. He said this, he said, in those days of Jesus, the treasures, there weren't banks, there weren't savings and loans, there were no banks, so the treasures, which happened to be the silks and the woolen garments and etc., and some metal stuff, were always hidden in the walls of the house, or maybe in the floors. And so that's where the moths and could eat them. And so he said, don't do that, but place them in heaven. And so there's a guy that kind of explained this further. And his name was His name was George Thompson. He's an Eastern philosopher, scholar. He said this. He used a metaphor. Think about this. This is cool. Take a glass of water and put it in the Sahara in the desert. Have the glass of water there. Now, the glass of water, the water has all the qualities of an ocean, doesn't it? However, fish can't swim in it. You can't swim in it. You can't sail a boat in it because it's a glass of water. So it's separated. And it's under the control of the desert itself. However, when it evaporates, when this glass of water evaporates, it becomes an integral part of the ocean and the air. And all of a sudden it is itself very dynamic and huge and wonderful. And that's what human beings are like. Joan, now we get back to Joan, she was in the Sahara Desert initially, totally separated from her power. And so when it was pointed out to her, Joan, ta-da, wake up, where are you? What have you done for the last 16 years? What have you studied? When that came to her, it started evaporating, and she became one with the whole. And this is what Easter's about. She calls me and she says, Angelo, I'm home now. Oh, really? How did you get home? She says, well, I did my meditation and I treated. And she said, then I got a hold of AAA. They took me to the dealer who was open, and they gave me a loaner car to get home. What's that all about? You see? So anyway, what occurs there, and I'm going to close with it, is this. When we get into those situations in the human drama, we come in with these ideas, but what if? Didn't she say, but what if? What if the dealer's closed because they're at church? Or what if there's no cars available? What if, but what if? And so what we're learning during this month is that when we look at this whole idea of spirituality, the whole idea of transcending the human drama and becoming the powerful person that we really are, we come to the realization that there are no but prints in the sands of time. And there's no buts in consciousness. And say it with me loud and clear. So,